If we take a look at problem 4, it says during a 90-day semester, a student records whether he arrives at school on time and whether he goes to bed by 10 p.m. the night before. The results are shown in the table below. Does the student arriving at school on time depend on whether the student goes to bed by 10? Show all work and justify your answer. So when we're trying to determine if one thing depends on another or one thing is independent of another, we're using that test for independence. We're using this test at the top of your box. Okay? So we are using probability of A and B. If that's equal to the probability of A times the probability of B, then those events are independent. If they aren't the same, if they aren't equal to each other, that means one thing is affecting the other, meaning they are dependent. Okay, so we have to find these probabilities. We didn't have to do the tests in 1 through 3 because we weren't given data. We were just given these random scenarios, and based off the scenario, what was happening, we had to determine if they were independent or dependent. Here we're given a table, we're given data, so we can use that data to help us answer this question. Okay? So the probability of A and B, well, sorry, I probably wrote this a little too early. Let's determine what our A and our B are. So the first thing, does the student arrive to school on time? So that's the probability of on time. And what we're seeing if it's dependent on, goes to bed by 10. So I'm going to say by 10. We have to see if that's equal to on time times the probability of bed by 10. Okay, to see if that's true. So now I'm going to make my fractions times a fraction. Okay, the total amount of days it said in the problem was 90. So 90 is going to go in the bottom of all of my fractions. Okay, and then I'm going to use my table. On time and bed by 10, so where they intersect on the table. Here's on time, bed by 10, 72. Then total of days he was on time. Well, add up this column. We're going to do 72 plus 9, which is 81. And then bed by 10. So we are going to add up this column. And 72 plus 8 is 80. So I'm going to see here, I think the easiest thing to do is I'm going to simplify 72 over 90. And that simplifies down to 4/5. And I'm going to see if that is equal to 81 over 90 times 80 over 90. Let's see here. Let's see what we get. Times 80 divided by 90. And that gives us 4/5. We have the same thing on both sides. 4/5 is equal to 4/5. So these are actually independent of each other. So this justifies you saying independent. Okay, the math backs up your answer. So all you have to say is independent or dependent. And then by doing all that math, that's supporting your answer. So these are independent of each other, meaning going to bed by 10 has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not he arrives to school on time. They have no effect on one another, therefore they're independent of each other. Okay, so there's problem number 4.